Who was your favorite outside of, we already discussed Mustafa. It was a big night for the rookies. Did you have a rookie outside of Mustafa that you're really excited about?
You know it's time.
Pooney?
Isaac Guerendo. Me and you have been on a crash course of destiny for Isaac Guerendo. Last week, you and I went in and you said that this man was not a running back.
Right.
Larry, what do you think now?
I'm gonna hold by what I said because I'm not saying that he's not a human being or that he can't play in the NFL. I'm just saying that there's running back instincts and he doesn't have them. But it doesn't matter when you're that big and that fast because let's be honest, I haven't seen more than 4 or 5 guys in my life that are this big and this fast. There's nobody. Mm-hmm. Sammy Smith going back to Florida State. Bo Jackson, who's ran 4.19 at 228 pounds or whatever he was. It's rare to see somebody this big and this fast. Mm-hmm. And this guy obviously has a role. And I wasn't like I was like, put him on the practice squad. I told you, if you put him on the practice squad, this guy will get plucked. Mm-hmm. But he's also the kind of what you've seen is what you get, which is you're going to get 7 or 8 carries that go for 2.5 yards a carry. Mm-hmm. And then he's going to bust one for 80. Mm-hmm. So if you're cool with that, then that's great. But if you're not cool with that, that's what he's going to be. That's what he is. He's not a pick and slide guy. That's all I'm saying. He's not a guy who you can say, hey, you know what? We're just going to run outside zone and you're going to read the blocks. And then at the ideal time, you're going to put your foot in the ground and go upfield. He doesn't have that. I mean, you can kind of see it. He runs up the blocks. He runs backs of his blockers. He doesn't read things real well. But what he has, they don't teach, which is 225 pounds, great athleticism, and
world-class speed.
I mean, we're not talking, Niners drafted one guy with 4.38 speed and one guy with 4.33 speed. You would think Cowing, the little guy, would be the guy with the 4.33 speed. He's 4.38. It's Guerendo who's 4.33. So he's a low 4.3 guy. I mean, he's a legit 4.3 guy at 225 pounds. So I love him. I want him as a fullback. I want him as an H-back. I want him as a return man.
You don't even know if he can block yet. You want him as a fullback.
I don't even want him to block as a fullback, coach. I just want to throw it to him. I want to throw it to him in the flat. I want to pitch it to him in space. I love him in the second half when everybody's used to going one speed, and now here's a bigger, faster guy. Because you know the way it works. You don't want to tackle the big, fast guy in the second half. You're tired at that point. If you can throw this guy out there and get him into space. I mean, even Forster said it. He's not great in tight spaces where he's got to make instantaneous decisions. But man, if you can get him on the edge, if you can get him in any kind of space, he's 2 steps full speed at 225. He's really exciting, really exciting.
So one thing that I needed to see from Isaac Guerendo is to see if he has a good first step. I mean, where does that 4.3 turn on, right? If it takes you 10 yards to get that 4.3 going, then what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? It's no good.
You can't have gather speed as a running back.
You can't have gathered speed, right? Especially to be that big. Larry, he could put his foot in the ground and go. At 225 pounds, man, at 6'1".
Like nobody else. Like almost nobody I've ever seen.
Larry, he's got the only thing that this kid knows is what he's been told about his skill set, which is that he's fast. He's special. All right. He's got to be able to trust his speed. One thing that I do like about him is that he's got acceleration, which has nothing to do with speed. He actually can call on that at will, which means that him not having vision, I feel like is him not understanding there's P's and Q's, brother. You got to be able to read the line of scrimmage. You got to be able to press the line of scrimmage before you can turn that thing on. The thing about you, dog, is that you can turn it on at any time you need to. So take your time. I saw that last week on Thursday. I saw that. There were plays where he was getting stuff. First play, he ran for 5 yards. He had a couple of good first down plays. Then he started running for 1 to 2 yards in the middle of those carries before he broke one. But what he was doing, Larry, is he was staying in his lane. He was not bouncing. He was staying in his lane.
And I'll give you one other thing he was doing. He was keeping his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
He wasn't turning, so he wasn't losing any of that power. So it's like now, it's like if you lose, as soon as you turn, you lose all your power. He is maintaining that power, keeping the square. He looked right. really, really good.
And that's in that run. That wasn't off tackle. I mean, that wasn't outside. That was right off tackle.
The guards.
Right between
the guard and tackle.
Yeah, right between the guard and tackle. So that's what I loved about the run, is because really what we've talked about is outside zone stretch, get him outside, get him on the sideline, which is cool. And yeah, he could do that in spades. But what's special about that run to me is it drew syntax to our conversation on him not having vision. That was a vision run, and he didn't get touched. I think that's something where, Larry, as a coach, how many times, Larry, have you seen coaches or yourself tell players like, dude, if you just trust me, just do what I'm telling you to do. If you would just do it once and just see it work. I think that run was a click of like, see what happens when you run your track? See what happens when you don't lean into your speed and you take care of your offensive lineman first? See what happens when you use your eyes and your steps the right way? Stay on your track, son. I think Isaac Guerendo is a player. I'm not here to say.
What do you think of Boogie here? Jay Boogie.
What's Boogie say?
He says he's a Mostert with less skin in the game. I think he's talking about money, maybe. But I will say this about I do see. I wasn't seeing the Mostert comp initially. I do starting to see the Mostert comp because he's a tough Invader 49er here. Guerendo's is tougher than Mostert. He's a bigger, more physical Mostert. He runs upright. He's got unbelievable speed.
And he's about 20 pounds heavier than Raheem Mostert.
Yeah.
Right. And big. One thing that I will tell you is that Raheem Mostert ran upright. He was an upright runner.
And he got hurt a lot.
Yeah, but he didn't have the body mass of this kid too to be able to take that stuff. Just imagine if you gotten this kid to lower his pads by 6 inches. Just imagine how crazy that would make a difference in his game. So
I'll give you the other thing, Coach, that I thought was super impressive in this game, especially when I did the rewatch. I did the condensed right after the game. I watched it again. The word's out that this kid puts it on the carpet. The word's out.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that.
And guys are coming for the football.
Yeah.
And yet he held that thing tight. I mean, really tight. See, a lot of times when you fumble, it's like you've just invited, it's like posting that you don't have your doors locked in your home. You know what I mean? It's like, what? They don't lock their doors, we just put it on a crime bulletin that blankety blank doesn't lock their door at night. Well, criminals are going to figure it out. When you don't, when you fumble, word gets out and everybody's going for the ball. And in this game, my goodness, the thing that really stood out is that the Seattle defenders were all going after the ball. I can't tell you the number of guys who put their helmet on the ball, hand on the ball, punched at the ball, grabbed at the ball. Even on his second effort, they're trying to reach in. They're not even grabbing him. If you look at,
they're going after the ball.
At the ball.
Yes.
I mean, they're literally going for the ball. So he held up, and man, he held that thing so tight. If he doesn't turn it that's really all he's got to do.
I think
don't turn it over. You'll be fine.
The cardinal sin. That's the cardinal sin to the run game, though, and that's the number one way for a coach to kind of shelf you as a running back if you can't protect the ball. They can full stop. They can literally take everything you do good and throw it in the trash can because you can't protect the ball. So, yes, I will agree. If Isaac Guerendo is a liability in protecting the ball, we can't use him. We can't. You can turn a whole game around. right?
Yeah, but that was growth, man, on his part. Because Bobby T got to him and said, "Hey, look, this is your reality now. They're going after the ball." So he was banking on it. He was expecting it. He was waiting for it. He was prepared for it.
You talked to him about this?
Well, no, I didn't, because the game was in Seattle.
Bring that up to him when you see him again.
I'm going to bring it up to him. But I mean, there's no doubt. I can tell just by the way he held the ball in the early games and the way he held the ball in this game that he knew they were coming for it, and they came for it, and he was ready for it. So that was great to see. I mean, that was real coaching. That was Bobby T getting in his ear, going, "This is what's going to happen to you, and we need you. So you're going to play. It's not like we can banish you to the bench. We need you." The other thing is, Coach, they got an incredible performance on the ground, and they did it despite the fact that nobody got more than 10 carries. 10 for Guerendo, 9 for Mason, 4 for Purdy, 5 for Taylor, 4 for Debo, 1 for Juice. 33 carries at 6.9 a carry, 228 yards.
Yeah, we're traveling with the run game. We still got good bones on this team, man. We're okay, but they just got to switch some things up. Isaac Guerendo, he can get taught vision, right? Bobby Turner can put vision in him. And it's not literally him seeing the hole, but it's the infrastructure and the technique that he has to follow, which will give him vision. It'll fall into where he's supposed to be, right? Your first step is your read step. Your third step is your cut step, right? You got to press the line of scrimmage. You have to press play side to the stretch and tackle, right? Which is Trent Williams. These are tenets and rules that all running backs in this inside and outside zone scheme have to utilize, because it gives you what? Built-in vision. You see the cuts. And even if you're following the technique and you can't see it, do it anyway. It will open up, right? Don't trust your lion eyes. Trust the technique. And I feel like Isaac Guerendo, as a young player, when you're young, what do? You see, then you do, right? That's how you play. You see, in the league, you can't see it first. You just got to do it. You got to go with the technique. And I think that's his biggest issue, is that he wants to see it first before he goes and does it. That was Trey Lance's issue. He wanted to see it first. And it was like, dude, you got to let the ball go. You can't wait. Isaac Guerendo's got that issue, but I think it could be fixed.
It's the word we're talking about is feel. You just have to feel it. You just have to feel it, and you just have to go. You're right. There's no time. You just have to go. You have to go, and you have to make decisions while you're moving. Brandon Simmons says, "Coach and Larry, can you teach vision, or is it something that you have?" I think it's something that you have, but it absolutely can be improved upon with good coaching and reps.
Yeah, you can teach vision.
Reps. Yeah, you can teach vision. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But body lean and all those things so many things of a running back you're born with. Like you see, there are kids that just try out for freshman football, and you're like, oh,
they just got it.
That kid's the running back.
Yeah.
Where other kids, you're back, oh, he's fast or he's athletic, but he's not the running back.
Yeah. And I'll give you that. Isaac Guerendo lacks feel. I will give he lacks
but he's
feel.
So fast and he's so big that we'll work on it. We'll work on it, because what he's got is so special. Dazza says before the big run, Guerendo was 9 for 23 yards. Exactly. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be ran into a wall, got a yard. Oh, but guess what? Now we got halfback toss. One guy slipped down, and this guy went 85 yards for 6.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be kind of like that. And I'll live with that. And I think they will too, because he complements what they have. He's a change of pace.